In this video, we will be looking at how to find the surface area of pyramids. So for surface area, you are finding the areas of the individual faces and adding them up. So in this first example, we have a rectangular based pyramid. In terms of the shapes we see, I see that we have a rectangle on the bottom, and then I have two types of triangles, the 8 by 6 and the 5 by 8. But in total, I have 4 triangles in total, 2 of each. So when I find the surface area, I like to split it up. So for, let's say, the area of the base, it is just a rectangle. So length times width. Our length is 8. Our width is 5. So that is 40 centimeters squared for that bottom base. Then I'll do my first type of triangle. So I'll just do area triangle 1. We know that the area of a triangle is base times height divided by 2, but I do have 2 of them. So let me highlight. Let's start with this front one that has a base of 5 and a height of 8. We have the exact same one in the back of the triangle as well. Okay, so our base is 5. Our height is 8. And then we'll divide that by 2 and then double it. So 5 times 8 is 40, and when we divide it by 2, that's 20. And the only reason I like to write this before I double it is to show that one of the sides has an area of 20. When I double it, that's 40 centimeters squared for both of those triangles. And then we also have, I'm going to highlight here, this front triangle, which is also in the back, directly opposite. So again, it's going to be base times height divided by 2, but in this case, our base is 8, our height is 6. So 8 times 6 is 48, and when we divide by 2, that is 24. So one side has an area of 24 centimeters squared, and when we double it, that's 48 centimeters squared in total. Now I have one rectangle and 4 triangles that I have figured out here. So our total surface area, the rectangle, the right and left triangles, and the front and back triangles. And if we add those up, we get 128 centimeters squared for our surface area. So we really just need rectangle and triangle areas here. And I don't like using the generic formula just because when you have the generic formula, you're going to have different letters for the bottom base and this height and this height. There's just so many letters, it seems overwhelming. So breaking it down just into the basic rectangles and triangles might be a little better. Okay, in our next one, what do we have? We have a triangle-based pyramid. So let's start with the base. Here is our base, right there. Now, because of the notation, it looks like the base is an equilateral triangle. So the base is 6 centimeters here, and the height is 8. So I'll write area base equals base times height divided by 2, and there's only one of those types of triangles. So the base of 6, the height of 8 divided by 2. 6 times 8, 48, divided by 2, 24 centimeters squared for our base. Then, if you imagine this triangular pyramid, you have 3 triangle surfaces all coming up to that point. Now, if I highlight the surface in a different color here, we have this triangle 3 times because each of those triangles has a base of 6 because it is an equilateral. So the base is 6, the height is 10, and we have 3 of those triangles. So area, I'll just put triangles. So base 6 times height 10 divided by 2. And then I'm going to multiply by 3 because I have 3 of those identical triangles. 6 times 10 is 60, divided by 2 is 30. So that just means each of those triangular surfaces has an area of 30 centimeters squared. And when I multiply it by 3, because I have 3 of them, that's 90 centimeters squared in total. And then we can just add up. Here's our base. Here are the 3 lateral triangles. And when we add that up, that is 114 centimeters squared. So here we just use the area of a triangle formula 2 times. All right, one more. It is an equilateral triangle on the base again, because all of these sides look like they're 4.5. The height of the base is 3.9. The height of those 3 lateral triangles is 3.5. So we just have to be careful. There's a lot of measurements given to us. We just have to be careful to use the correct ones. So for my base, again, I'll write my generic formula here. My base is the 4.5. My height is this one here for the base triangle that we're dealing with, which is 3.9. So I'm going to plug that into the calculator, and we get, let's just round this to 1 decimal place, we get 8.8 centimeters squared for the base. And then the area for our 3 triangles, well, each of these triangles here still has the same base of 4.5, but its height is 3.5. So 4.5 times 3.5 divided by 2 for one of the triangles, but we have 3. So 4.5 times 3.5 divided by 2, that's 7. I'm not going to round my answer just yet because this isn't my final answer. So that was the original area for one of the triangles, and when I triple it, now I will round my answer to 23.6 centimeters squared. So those were 3 of our lateral surfaces, and now we can add them up. So here's the base, and here are those 3 individual triangles. And when we add them up, our total surface area is 32.4 centimeters squared. So some rectangle formulas, some triangle formulas, and just really visualizing the shapes you have, how many are identical.